And welcome into the Fun Astrology Podcast. It's Monday, December 16th. Thomas Miller back again, still on the road, having a nice little vacation with Majana. And but does Thomas bring his stuff? Majana, do I bring my stuff with me? Everywhere. Well, we got it here. All right, so we're going to talk astrology this morning because I've got some great insights that have come from traveling. And yes, Majana has had to listen to some astrology podcasts. Not much, but a few. She learns from it. So it's all good. It's all good. Okay, before the nuggets, let's talk about the sky. So a couple of things going on. First of all, Mercury is in a square with Neptune right now. What have we got with that? Well, let's think about communication foggy, brain foggy, podcast host foggy. You get the idea, right? So there's this scrambling of clarity would be a great way to put it. And that can be with communication and thought. Also short-term travel. Majana, I guess we better stay put for a couple of days. Actually, until Christmas. maybe we just found a new camping ground here, because that one is going to be in place until Christmas or the day after. And of course, the day after, boy, we are getting ready to get into busy season here, because the day after Christmas is a big solar eclipse. But this Mercury-Neptune, so things are going to be a little bit scrambly. Now, remember, we're still, the stage, the big macro stage is setting for Saturn-Pluto on January 12th. So having this Mercury, which is still in Sagittarius, it will be moving into Capricorn before the big conjunction day. But right now, it's taking this little about 10-day trip through the fog. What's a good way to handle that? See, I've got Neptune right on my sun, so I've had to understand this of Neptune's effect on planets. The thing is you can just step back away from communication and you can realize, okay, if that didn't come off right, let's just take a big step back and maybe some pause and take another run at it. If you're not understanding something clearly, and this could be in a relationship or business or with your health or a decision that you have to make and there's just fog around it, get another opinion. Hopefully you have somebody in your life who you could turn to say, you know what, when I get into this, just things aren't so clear. Now remember, things might not be so clear for them too, but at least go to your most trusted sounding boards. And that might be just one or two people. But that's how I handle it, and I do that quite a bit. And Majana basically understands this, so she has become really a rock for when I'm getting too Neptunian. She knows what to look for. And if you don't have somebody like that in your life, it would be great to cultivate it. And you could start by simply telling them to listen to the Fun Astrology Podcast. It'd be a great way to begin, right? Okay, let's take a look at another aspect that is worth noting, and that is, first of all, the Sun and Jupiter. Okay, now this is a little wide, but I'm mentioning it now because the Sun is moving in that direction. The Sun today is at 24 degrees Sagittarius. It will be moving out of Sagittarius and into Capricorn on December 22nd. Jupiter right now is at 3 degrees Capricorn. So it will be at about 5 degrees, I think, when the Sun moves in. But basically, the Sun is chasing Jupiter down, moves so much faster, about 12 times faster, in fact. So this is an interesting scenario. Jupiter in Capricorn, we've talked about this. Planets get grumpy when they move into the next sign. There is probably no more dichotomy in the chart. Well, yeah, there could be, but this is a big one between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So Jupiter in Sagittarius, its own home sign, versus Jupiter in Capricorn are about the difference between, let's say, an untrained horse roaming free in the pasture versus an untamed horse with a bridle in its mouth. You ever seen a horse just bucking and kicking and screaming against trying to be trained? That's what we're talking about here. You've got one unhappy hombre. But there's a bright spot, and that is the Sun is moving toward Jupiter. Actually, there are a couple of bright spots with this. And we'll unpack that as we go on. Maybe this would be a good week to do some of that. But with the sun moving toward Jupiter, that's going to give you a little bit more ignition again, and will give you a little bit more, if you will, Sagittarius and Jupiter combined. Because as they move closer, now right now they're 8 degrees apart. That's pretty wide. But over the next couple of weeks, as the sun moves in and starts to close in, they're going to start to mesh energies. And for at least until the 22nd, you'll be able to blend that Sagittarius back in with that Jupiter. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of a segue, if you will. So when Jupiter was moving out of Sagittarius, remember I was saying if you wanted any project to get started with that Jupiter and Sagittarius signature, you needed to do it before Jupiter moved into Capricorn. That's gone. Now we're dealing with a Jupiter that is in Capricorn. However, this sun can give you that extra little bit of illumination. Again, just combine the energies. What is the sun? It is your radiant fuel source. What is Jupiter? Expansion. So put the two together. You've got it in a waxing mode, so in other words, building until December 27th. And that's interesting because the eclipse happens on the 26th. And again, we will go into the eclipse energy more as we get closer and around the holidays. Don't go too far. And don't forget that the day after Christmas is a big, major solar eclipse. Now, there's one other aspect that I wanted to mention, and that is that the Leo moon, today's Leo moon, is square Mars in Scorpio. So Mars is at home, Mars being the ancient ruler of Scorpio. The moon in Leo, no, not happy because it just moved from its own sign, Cancer. It's all that Leo heat is just burning the poor little thing up. So if you get a little bit of crossways with some communication, or if there's some amplified intensity today, well, that's what's causing it. Moon will move off of that really quickly, but just keep that in mind for today on Monday. Well, I had some really cool little aha epiphanies, so I guess that gives me good reason to come back again tomorrow, which we will. I'll shorten it up tomorrow and we can talk about some aha moments because it is really, really cool. So there's a tease. You'll have to wait until tomorrow to hear it. Come right back here to the Fun Astrology Podcast. And hope you have a great Monday. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow.